You're watching It's Life Live with your hosts, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcel. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to It's Life. We are back for another engaging opportunity for us to share with you some insights as it relates to either health, finances, relationships, or health and wellness. And today, we're going to be dealing with health and wellness. So, welcome to ClearJourney. Our platform is a part of our nonprofit, which allows and helps people that are looking for answers to life's challenges in specific areas, but not to exclude any, but it's specifically, or we mainly talk about finances, we talk about relationships, and we talk about health and wellness. Today, we're going to be, like I said, health and wellness, and we're also in the mindset. We're actually all of those areas are concerning the right mindset, and it's the love mindset. My name is Juan Lee. I'm the founder of ClearJourney and the author of a book called Love Made Simple, which is the foundation of our organization, our nonprofit, where we talk about a love mindset, which allows us to be able to navigate all areas of life with the right mindset. We can be successful when we have the right mindset. And so if you would like to support us and help us in doing that, if you could pick up a copy, it's also on Audible, and you can get it at Amazon. So it's Love Made Simple, the guide to inner peace, contentment, and success. In addition, one of the things that we think that is very important and significant in everything that we do is our finances and being able to be financially secure. And we have a gift that we like to offer you. If you go over to our website, it's Budgeting Made Easy, the guide to taking charge of your money. We believe it is essential. If you want to be able to be successful in life, you've got to be able to manage your income, your resources. You've got to be able to manage them in a way that they can help you reach your potential, your goals. And so if you go over to our website, all you have to do is just ask for it, and we'll be happy to send you a copy of our ebook. It's only on ebook, so please go over there to ClearJourney. And as a matter of fact, let's share with you our website is clearjourney.org. And today we have a guest that is going to be sharing with us about health and wellness. And she has a very unique way of presenting it. And we're going to talk to her about it today. Let me tell you, she is a transformative health coach for over 25 years, experienced in health and fitness. She helps clients to achieve their wellness goals and transforms their lives. As a coach, she works with clients to create a personalized plan that incorporates nutrition, exercise, and mindset. Get that mindset to help them achieve the optimal health and wellness. She believes that small steps, sustainable change, sustained changes will lead to significant transformation. I don't mean to have butchered that all up, but let's welcome Kim Putiyon. Help me out. Did I say your last name right?
Putiyon.
Putiyon. Putiyon. I apologize. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Kim, so tell us how, I guess we can get started into just how you got into it. You've been doing this for over 25 years. How did you get into it, and what was it that inspired you to take this route?
I've pretty much been exposed to exercise and health most of my life. my mother would get us up and have us work out with her pretty regularly. My dad was a runner, so I was exposed to it from a pretty young age. We also ate pretty healthy. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on bad foods, so I didn't have that to worry about. I just had really good examples. And I also I'm a lifelong asthmatic. So as a kid, the medicine wasn't great. And the thinking was you sit down, you don't do much. So it was kind of challenging. But as I got older, I started saying, I want to challenge myself more and see what my body can do. And it turns out that exercise actually helps improve your asthma symptoms.
Wow.
So
I could believe that though. I mean, because this journey that you've been on for like 50 years or 25 years or so, I've been just recently becoming aware of the connections between our mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and
mhm.
soul, and how all of that is so significant in being able to live a healthy life. And so when
Yeah.
you said that, I think we're basically on our conversations for our pre-interview, it was like, man, that's something that you've known all your life, but I've had to figure it out
Mhm.
going through life. And so it's always good to be able to have a perspective that can give us, benefits. Let me ask a question. I know this might not have been one of the questions that we talked about, but
Mhm.
how do you think having been growing up in that type of environment has allowed you, has aided you in your life's journey, so to speak?
The From what I've seen with friends who grew up with parents, and honestly, a lot of times the moms that struggled with weight, having come from an experience of what they thought were bad foods or things that needed to be eliminated and all that, I've seen them struggle where because I didn't have that, it never crossed my mind that I couldn't have something. And so I think that really benefited me um, as I moved forward as an adult and then a mother to not have that baggage.
Has that been difficult to be able to, I guess, relate to other people that have had that baggage, so to speak, having not ever had
Mhm.
that baggage?
As far as relating, I guess I would say yes and no. Yes, because I don't have that experience, and no, I I understand because we all have baggage of some sort. It might not be with food or whatever, but we all have some kind of baggage. So understanding that, it's been helpful for me to see other people's perspectives and then also to help them think about food in a different way so that they don't have to be fearful or put themselves down or feel badly about themselves for eating different foods or foods that wouldn't be considered good foods.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because in the light of how you explain yourself when you said incorporated nutrition, exercise, and mindset, and I'm assuming
Mhm.
that mindset is what you were alluding to when you say, okay, there's some transitions and transformative things that need to happen up in your mind
Yeah.
so that you can be able to either, make the transfer from what you were doing to what you are doing. And that being the case, how many can you share with us some success stories maybe of people that you've worked with that has had some of these types of challenges and how they've
Mhm.
overcome them?
Yeah, I had a client that was perimenopausal. She didn't have a huge weight issue, but uh, moving into perimenopause, she started to notice that she was gaining weight and getting a little bit of a belly and not being able what she did before to lose weight wasn't working anymore.
Mhm.
So, we sat down, we started looking at different tools. We incorporated macros. We looked at what her exercise program was. We tweaked that a little bit, and we worked on her mindset because she was so worried about, like, I have to do this. If I don't, I'm a failure. And what the world sees doesn't define whether you're a success or a failure. So we worked a lot on that. And so in the end, she was able to lose the weight, keep it off, and exercise without feeling like she had to be in the gym 2 or 3 hours a day.
Mm. Hey, for our listeners that might not know what perimenopause is, help us to understand what perimenopause is. Now, I understand what it is because I've been married to a woman for 27 years, and we've gone through that journey. But if you could explain what perimenopause is.
So perimenopause is the time for women before they go into menopause. And menopause is when we no longer have a monthly cycle. So perimenopause at that time is where we start to lose fertility, our cycles start to get irregular, our hormones start to decline. And that's where we have a lot of our issues with the hot flashes, insomnia, weight gain, things like that.
And I say that because that's a journey. I've been on a podcast with a young lady, and she has a podcast that's associated with perimenopause and menopause in general. And it's something that, I was telling her from what I do and how I help people in the sense of what the love mindset. And this is very interesting that you talk about it in this vein, is because it really requires not only for women to understand this, but for men also to be able to understand what this is all about, because it indeed will affect the relationship. And if they're unaware of what that is and the significance and how that impacts the way in which women think about themselves, view themselves, see themselves, and many men can take it personal.
Yes.
And it's not something that should be taken personal, but more so supportive and understanding what's going on. It's something that's new for them, just as it is new for you to have to see them go through this. So I'm glad you shared that, because that's significant in for both men and women to understand that, this is not something that is intended to be it's not going to say it's easy, but it shouldn't be something that destroys relationships if you're aware and understand what's going on. And it's been a journey. I mean, like I said, I went through this with my wife, so I mean, I understand fully. It's interesting. Do you have other situations or circumstances or clients that maybe had some other additional issues that maybe would have that you've worked with, that you've shared with them and allowed them to be successful?
Yes. I've had people that have come with like high blood pressure, or like their doctor is saying, okay, you're pre-diabetic, you need to get a handle on what's happening. And so I've worked with them on learning how to manage how they eat. And like a big key thing is, all people who become type 2 diabetics a lot of times really like sweets. And so one thing that they can do is make their own desserts at home and use things like whole food sweeteners like dates or maple syrup instead of the processed sugar. And that makes a difference in how the body processes it.
That's I mean, boy, you just stepped on two things that I myself have I have identified that I need to deal with.
Okay.
I'm working on pre-diabetic, trying to get outside of the pre-diabetic. And my blood pressure is I'm working on bringing that down other than with medicine. Okay.
Hmm.
So that is a very significant um, role as it relates to having to think about how to do that. Um, so the things that you're talking about are very relevant to me, in the
Hmm.
way in which we put this and we process this in dealing with it. So that being the case, what are some of those tricks? Because you can share them with me now. What are some of those tricks, or tricks, or those things that you support? How do you support those that are working with those types of ailments?
So pretty much all health issues can benefit from your nutrition. And eating a plant-based lifestyle or eating more plant-based makes a huge difference. Um, so a lot of people think that that's a hard thing to do, and when I became plant-based, did struggle a little bit, and it's more about just your brain getting wrapped around it. And there's a lot of resources out there for people, but doing something like plant-based, making your own desserts using whole food sweeteners, looking at eating whole food um, instead of processed foods, uh, meditation, which yoga, things like that, where you're calming your mind will really do a lot to help settle your body. And then that starts to bring down your blood pressure. And even like with the diabetes, stress can bring up your blood sugar levels. So just bringing down that stress is very helpful.
You just hit the $100 question. I mean because that right there was the thing that really turned the light on for me, was when I recognized the impact of stress on the body.
Yes,
The
so
cortisol
huge.
cortisol levels, which is meant to protect you, can now
Hmm.
then work against you if you're unable to control the stress.
Yes, yes,
And that is essential part, and I think many people aren't aware of it. I know I wasn't, but it begins to affect you, your physical body. And so the sooner you're able to accept and be able to apply that into your life, um, you will begin to feel and see a difference in your physical health. And I can contest to that. So that is absolutely beneficial in being able to do that. And types of ways to do that is, like you said, through yoga, through meditation, through prayer, through eating a healthier diet. All of those things play a part. And I tell you, for me, if any of you have ever been out there and you've had a problem with sleeping, me,
yep,
that's a sign that there's a imbalance in the fact that
absolutely.
you can't shut down to sleep. That's cortisol trying to protect you. And in other words, it's not protecting you. It's working against you because it's not allowing you to rejuvenate while sleeping.
Yes,
So
yes.
so these are very important things that you're talking about.
There's also something that I was recently introduced to called The Miracle Morning. And there's a book, and there's also a free app. And I believe he has a movie on YouTube. And that kind of helps you set your tone for the day, where you have different things. He went on a journey of trying to figure out what makes you the most effective and efficient. And in that, there's also a lot of peace. So I've started to try to do this every day. And it's been very interesting to see how much more productive I can be, and then calmer, and not as stressed because I'm getting things done.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that we don't recognize, even when we're getting things done, in some cases it's how we're getting things done.
Yes.
And if you're getting them done at the expense of your health, you've got to
Yes.
recognize that, because it's going to play a part over the long haul. And that's the thing that I've come to realize, is that I've been under stress for years,
Right.
and and
Right.
and and did not know it, nor could I recognize it, because that had been my norm. And
Yep.
so be aware of these signs that things, when things are happening, that these are not things that just go with getting older. It's as a result of how we're processing things inside.
And
um
it compounds.
yeah, and that's a very good word. It compounds. Nothing is independent or just sitting there by himself. It actually compounds, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, until the point of the thing that it doesn't work anymore. So
Yep.
the sooner you find this information, this stuff out, and that's why we're here. We're here to inform, educate, and give you resources so that you can navigate life more successfully. um let me ask you a question. What are some of the challenges, the common challenges that you've had with your clients, that you think, um, that are, that trips them up, that makes it difficult for them to go on this journey of healthy, uh, a healthier lifestyle?
Um, a lot of it goes with mindset. It, they believe that they can't do it, or they, like, if they're struggling with weight and they've been struggling with weight for years, they're like, well, I've tried and it just didn't work. So, I don't know. I'm going to try again, but I don't believe that it's going to happen. So, um, that uh, not having a real plan, like, I want to lose weight, but not saying, okay, what is the goal? Like, what in the end looks like a win for you? And then reverse engineering, how do I get to my win? So that's a big thing. Um, Sometimes it's just lack of resources. Um, Sometimes it's lack of just knowledge, just not understanding how to get there.
Hmm. Again, so that takes us right back to why we're here, and that is that we can give you the information, the resources, the information, so that you can
Mhm.
not allow those things that prevent you from reaching your goals, to make that, so they won't be those obstacles that prevent you. Um, in doing that, how can a person keep track on this journey? Or what are some of the ways that they can monitor themselves to maybe, so that they can stay on track on this journey?
So if we're talking about something, if they have a specific goal, um, say if they're trying to lose weight, there's they can track by doing measurements, they can track by taking pictures, they can track by weighing themselves. But then also in the gym, what are they doing? Are they, if they're lifting weights, are they getting stronger? Are they able to lift heavier weights? If someone says, like, okay, I would like to run a 5K, then they're looking at consistency in their training program. Um, are they taking the time to rest and recover like they need to, according to what the program prescribes? Are they getting faster? Are they feeling like they are building endurance?
Hmm.
So just depending on what the goal is, there's always some kind of marker where they can see the progress. the other side of that is they have to acknowledge the progress, which is these are all wins. And so, like, say your goal is, I need to drink more water, and right now you don't drink water at all. If you said, okay, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water a day, and I'm just going to start today. After a day or two, you just can be like, I cannot do this. This is just way too hard. But if you say, okay, I'm going to drink a glass of water a day, and you do that for a few days, and then you say, okay, now I'm going to drink 2 glasses of water, and you continue on, you can build to that. And also, you need to look back and say, okay, well, I was drinking no water. Now I'm drinking a glass of water. That is a win. So it's just like a little tiny, small accomplishment, but it is something that's moving you forward to your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again ironic that you speak on that topic of water, because water is essential to a
Yes.
healthy lifestyle. It's really essential. And the amount of it, okay?
Yes.
So there is some addition to the fact that, our 8 glasses of water is it's not a suggestion. It's a requirement for your body, but yet that is a good example of how it accumulates. Because
Yes.
when we think about our bodies, when we don't understand the impact of being dehydrated. It
Yes.
impacts every organ in your body, every organ
Definitely
in your
does.
body. And it will addition, and eventually it will begin to affect it. And so when she says those small goals, they're essential, they're important goals. And so what I guess I'm trying to emphasize here is that nutrition and these things that she's talking about, they're good things to start putting into place if you don't already have them. Very
Yep.
good things to put into place. And the more the better as it pertains to water. And so 1 glass is better than none.
Yep.
2 is better than 1. 3 is better than 2. And it's something that you have to understand, that it's just not enough to get a little bit. We've got to look to what the body requires, get that knowledge to understand that what you're building, that 1 glass of water, is really going to get you to the point of what your body really needs to sustain itself, to make it remaining healthy. And so, again, I'm not perfect. I'm not there yet. Again, let's put it like this. My desired outcome, and I'll put you for me, is about 100 ounces of water a day. That's where I am. And it's amazing. I can feel the difference when I don't do it. I can
Yeah.
really feel the difference when I don't do it. So take that for what it's worth. It's it's a necessity. It's really, and then see the importance of those goals. Um, Kim, what are some of the values and principles that you apply to your coaching with your clients?
Um, you have to start with looking at yourself and being honest. Um, so for me, like, I will be honest, and sometimes that's not so fun, but I want to go in saying, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, you be honest with me, I'm gonna help you to achieve your goals. And then from there we start looking at what what they're looking for. And um, You know, sometimes we have to really look back at what, like, say they set a goal. We keep going back and we review as we're going through. It's not like, okay, at the beginning, you say, I want to lift 500 pounds or whatever. Um, and then we start that process. I still have to check in with you. I want you to check in with me. I want to know how this is going. And somewhere in that process, you might say, well, you know, I thought that's what I wanted, but I really don't. I think what I want to do, this is what I actually want. Because, you know, as we go through life, we tend to get more clarity as we experience things. So um, as as we get more clarity, then we pivot, we revamp, we set a new plan and process and work towards that.
Hey, that sounds like a perfect sales pitch for ClearJourney. That sounds like clear journey pitch. It's exactly what it is. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, I think anybody that would have a coach could use that type of support. And I
Mhm.
think that's what your suggestion is that once you have a coach, that person that can then begin to give you directions and allow
Mhm.
you to make those pivots when necessary in
Right.
the journey.
I
Um,
really want to empower people to be able to recognize that they can also manage their journey themselves, you know, because
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people don't have that confidence, and it's always there. They just have to find it.
I tell you, I'll use an example for myself. About 2 years ago, I had I got a coach, a coach in at the gym,
Mhm.
and I think I used him for about 6 months, and I went twice a month, twice a week, twice a month, no, twice a week for about 6 months,
Mhm.
and it was throughout that process that I learned the value. And I think it came from a lot of it. It had come from the fact that he taught me stuff that I didn't know about myself. It taught me things that I didn't know, which made it very much, it made it easier for me after our 6 months was over to continue to do the things that he had taught me because I didn't know him before then. And it made it difficult for me to go out there and go to the gym by
Mhm.
myself until he had taught me those things. But so now to this day, it's been 18 months, almost 2 years since he's coached me. But I go back in and I do the things that he teaches me, he taught me over and over and again. And it really, like you say, now I'm doing it on my own. Now I just got to be consistent with it, so that I can continue to maintain the benefits that he taught me. So that's that value in having a coach to help you through that journey. Um, for those that are just starting this wellness journey, what advice or motivation would you offer to help them to take their first step in this health journey and wellness journey?
Start small, but dream big
Mm,
and celebrate all the wins. Acknowledge yourself for everything that you're doing, and just celebrate every little thing that you do. Be kind to yourself because none of us is perfect, and we don't want to strive for perfection. We want to strive to be the best that we can be and to do our very best. And that will be enough. I mean, we're going to have days where we're going to slip up, and that doesn't mean we have to beat ourselves up. We can pick ourselves right back up and start. We don't have to say, okay, we can't do it, that's it, you know? And I'd really like to offer a perspective that a lot of people might not take into consideration. Um, we know that we need to have some kind of a retirement savings plan, a 401k or something. But do you have a health savings plan. You really need to have one. And if you don't, what good does it do you to have that 401k? If you retire and you've got money to live comfortably and you want to travel the world, but your health is so poor that you can't, then what good does it do you? So, and we don't always start our 401ks when we should have, but when we do start it, every penny helps. And it's the same for the health savings plan. Start it whenever. It's not too late.
Wow. I mean, I like that perspective. That's a connection there that I had not thought about. I mean, I've said it in many of occasions, but not quite like that before. So I thank you for sharing that with us. That's great. I do want to ask for a little bit of a clarity. You said start small but think big. Can you give us an example of that? Start small and think big.
As pertain to health, like weight loss, since that's something most people are familiar with, if you say, I have 50 pounds to lose, you know that you can't just get to losing 50 pounds. You have to start small. You need to look at what your nutrition looks like. What does your exercise look like? If you're weighing yourself and you weigh yourself and you lost 1 pound, don't be disappointed. Be happy. Like, you lost 1 pound. That means you only have 49 left to go. And if you just say, okay, I have 50 pounds to lose, I'm going to lose 1 pound at a time. And don't think of it as this big gigantic fish, that you have to eat the whole thing. You don't have to eat the whole thing. You just have to take it one step at a time. Lose 50 pounds, 1 pound at a time.
Yeah, and that's exactly the idea that we most often get frustrated because when we take that one step forward, and then we end up taking a step back. and
Yeah.
and how do we get past that? Being able to take that step forward and and without losing our game, so to speak. Do you have any suggestions for that?
There's so many things that tie into that. So if we stick with the weight loss example, you've lost 5 pounds and then you just had a bad week and you haven't been eating as well. So now you gained back 3 of the 5 that you lost. Well, now you're not starting all over again because you already know what to do. So when you started, say you didn't know what you needed to do. So you're at a 0. And then you moved forward and now you're maybe like at a 2. Then you had this bad week. So now you're really more like at a 1, and then, you just keep moving forward. If you say like your goal is like a 0 to 10, like 10 is your like your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. You it's not just about like if you didn't eat well, but you also didn't take some time to meditate. You didn't take some time to do some deep breathing when you felt really stressed out to kind of calm yourself down. Then those are things that okay, I know I need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really that's really good advice to be able to understand that what it was that you were doing. All you got to do is stay the commitment to redo it, to get back on the horse.
Be consistent.
There you go. There you go. Um, in is there anything else you would like? I know that I'm gonna tell you what you've already shared has been phenomenal, but is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
Remember that you are your strongest advocate. You have the power within you to help yourself. You might need to find it, but it is there within you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to remember, we are all wonderful, beautiful human beings. And you just need to keep moving forward.
Okay, that's exactly right. I am in the process of trying to locate a lot of the information that you and I had talked about, and I had preloaded it, but I am going to have her information. If you want to get in touch with Kim, I'm going to have her information down in the notes.
If anyone has any questions or thoughts, I would love to hear from you.
That's great. I appreciate you, Kim, and I apologize. I tell you, Oliver is the behind the scenes part, and he's unavailable today. And I didn't want to put off our time together, but we will have all of your information in the
Okay.
the notes at the end at the end of the show. I want to thank you. I appreciate you for being with us today. And I think the information that you've shared has been phenomenal. I think it is so important that we realize that, and like you said, it's that health 401k. I mean, it's that health, it's be able to have a healthy body to be able to use those things, those funds that you're preparing for. And I think we just don't take the consideration, the time. I mean, we're more so thinking about how are we going to, or if we're going to have enough money,
Yes.
if you're going to have enough money, will you have enough energy in life to go along with that money? I think in many cases, people outlive that money, and many times, I mean, the money outlives them,
Yes.
lasts longer than they do.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that. And thank you again for being with us. And I really appreciate you. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for all that you're doing.
Look, trying the best I can. I appreciate it. I again apologize for not having everything available for you on the screen, but we're again going to have it there for the audience to be able to get in touch with you. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Okay, guys. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you gained something from Kim's things that she shared with us and her professional in her profession of being a health coach, and the way in which she cares and shares her nutritional and exercise and mindset journey so that you can accomplish yours. I will again look forward to looking into sharing that information, and before you go, just look down and you'll have the information there for you. Um, Again, Clear Journey's here for you so that you can be able to reach your full potential in all areas of life, including health and wellness, finances, and relationships. And we look forward to you coming back. If this is your first time here, by all means, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so that whenever we upload a new video, that you will know it in advance so that you can be there to watch it with us. So until then, like I said before, we can't change your life, but we can surely help you navigate it. And until next time, we'll see you then.